Jason Rzucidlo, reporting for AmericaJR.com, being joined by Taja Sevelle, Executive Director of Urban Farming. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Very good. So first, can you tell me a little bit about how you got the urban farming movement started?
Well, I was recording a CD here in Detroit, Michigan, and I started to see the vast amounts of unused land in the city and really learning about the job loss and things like that, and kind of just put one and two together and said, why don't we plant on this land? With the amount of unused land that's in the city, that really could be the first city to get rid of hunger. But the vision has always been global, and I started in 2005 with 3 gardens, and this year we'll be planting the equivalent of over 1,000 gardens across the country and abroad.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more of how urban farming is benefiting Detroit?
Well, people are benefiting in many ways, not only obviously being able to eat the food, and that, people that are starving or suffering from food insecurity are able to come to the gardens. They don't have fences around them and just pick the food if they need it. And that's on the community gardens. I always stress that, not necessarily on the urban farming green science gardens, which are located on school campuses and things like that. But the community gardens are free for the community, and whether they worked on the garden or not, if they are having struggles and challenges feeding their families, they're able to come and get the food. So that's one big way that it's helping Detroit. But there are many, many other ways. We galvanize people together, beautify the area. We do a lot of educational things. We also teach about entrepreneurship and money management and things like that. So we say that it starts with the garden.
Okay. Alrighty. So now, do you think urban farming is becoming like a new industry for the Motor City? First we had the cars, now the film industry is coming. Now, do you think this is a new industry?
Well, I like to say we're turning Motown into Growtown, and I mean that it's a cool little phrase. I mean that obviously also from planting, but also from the standpoint of different businesses. So I think that urban agriculture is certainly one aspect of new industry, and I think that there are many other new industries that are going to be introduced to Detroit over the next few years.
Okay. All right. So now, where are the urban farms located here in Detroit?
Well, the largest garden that we have is on Gladstone and Linwood, and that garden, it took us over 80 semi-trucks of topsoil and compost to create. It started out as one whole city block. We've expanded this year, so this garden will be 2 acres. It's our largest garden. We have another garden on Nodell off of Van Dyke, and that garden is about 1 acre, and we've got several other gardens on different locations all over the city.
So now you've been kind of like touring the country, going to different media outlets. I know you were on the Ellen Show recently. What has the response been like?
Well, it's been great, and I hear that you were at the Ellen Show too, and you were there the very same episode. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, I think the thing that's really cool about it for me is just to see how many people are really getting involved with this movement. It's really a movement, and it's a global movement. Our part in it is that we want to see an end to hunger in our generation, but different people are planting for different reasons, and we embrace it all.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the partnership with Triscuit?
We're really excited to be partnered with Triscuit and Craft for the home farming movement. What we're doing is we're planting 50 gardens in 20 cities across the country, and we are really excited about it because the messaging of the home farming movement is really all about getting back to basics, touching base with the simple joys of planting your own food, and also the message is really taking into consideration that 3 out of 4 consumers want less chemicals in their foods. They want simpler foods and things like that. And obviously the Triscuit cracker only has 3 ingredients. It's wheat, oil, and salt. So that's a good example. And so we're thrilled and we're really excited to be a part of it. And we think it's great messaging to get behind.
So in terms of the Ellen Show, I noticed she had a little garden there. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, she has a garden on her set, and she's pretty enthusiastic about getting started with gardening. And I think she's going to be doing little pieces from that garden all summer and also talking about what we're doing with the home farming movement. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay. Now, do you think urban farming will help people eat healthier?
I do. It's funny. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he said, wow, I remember when we planted some beans at school, and he said, and that is the reason, he said, that is the only reason that I eat beans to this day, that I started eating beans when I was a kid, and to this day I eat beans because of that. And I thought, that's a pretty powerful statement, actually, because I know, and I've heard it, and we've seen it, you know, from theory to practice, that when kids and especially the youth, you know, get involved, they take ownership. They, you know, and that's what he said. He said, I felt like it was my bean, and so, you know, I was going to eat it, and he started eating beans after that, and I thought that was great, you know, and it does teach kids, and it's a wonderful thing how to eat healthy, and certainly adults that get involved as well.
Okay. Now, how can people get involved with urban farming?
You can log on to urbanfarming.org. You can call us, 313-664-0615. And if you want to check out the what we're doing with the home farming movement with Triscuit, you can go to triscuit.com/home farming. The cool thing about that website also, and you can access it through our site as well, is that people are registering their home gardens to be a part of the home farming movement, and they're doing this all over the country and even some other countries as well. And they're sharing gardening tips and tips on what you know, you can get gardening tips from Paul James, who's the garden guru, the garden guy. I call him the garden guru. And he's from HGTV, and he gives garden tips. So if you're you know, you're wondering, you've never done it before, you're wondering if it's easy or not, you can find out just how easy it is and find out what's good in your growing season and when to plant what and all kinds of stuff, and talk to other people about your success stories and things like that.
Where would you like to see the urban farming movement in, say, the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, our goal is to get rid of hunger in our generation, and it sounds like it's a tall order, but when you consider that during World War II, 20 million Americans planted victory gardens in their yards, and they grew almost 40% of our nation's produce supply, then you kind of realize, wow, that model's been done before all of the ways that we have to connect with each other. And so if they could do that back then, and they did it also in World War I, they called it the Liberty Guards, then we could certainly do that again. And so we really intend to see an end to hunger through our win-win relationships and partnerships with different folks, to see an end to hunger in our generation.
Okay. So you already mentioned the website, but where can you mention again, where can people get more information on this?
Well, you know, urbanfarming.org, just like it sounds, urbanfarming.org is the best way to get a lot of wonderful information about this.
Anything else to mention about this topic that maybe I didn't ask?
Well, there's a lot to the topic. We just encourage people to come out, and you know, if they want to adopt a garden, we love that. If they want to make a donation, we love that. Just, you know, get connected, be a part of the movement.
All right, thanks a lot. It was nice speaking with you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.